another band. All them having cars now, with your bag it up. Light up my card with a sweet one bliss. Someone flicks me a bag it up. Say, oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to episode 26 of Crossroads in Boxing with me, myself, CJ Spate, and my main man, Eric ERF. How are we doing, pal? You alright, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Boxing is booming at the moment. There's so much going on, so much to talk about. We can only apologise for this one show this week. A very busy week for both myself, CJ, and of course, we're missing Ricky. He's busy working. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he may be back next week. But yeah, before we get going with the episode, as usual, we'll go to D-Rock Clothing promotional video. Maybe 40% off.
And we're back. We've got a lot to catch up on.
Yes, we do.
We've got all the boxing from the weekend to try squeeze in, results, predictions we gave, etc., etc. Sorry, man. Ripped headphones out then. Trey, big up, brother. How are you doing, pal? Hope you're well.
Yeah, big up, Trey, as usual. Libster, straight in there as well. As usual.
You know, my dude's been doing some Muay Thai in Tenerife. Get in there, Libs.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, I've seen your pictures. You on holiday, yeah. I'm not jealous anyway. Look at the weather here. The weather here is madness right now, to be fair. I'm in a vest. That's how warm it is.
The only thing I take more is that I've got bad hay fever at the minute. I'm just like my nose is streaming, my eyes are itching.
I've actually got subscription hay fever tablet. The strongest one. I suffer really bad with it. I had to ring the doctors as soon as I seen these what the weather was going to be like. I was like, nah, because I drive for a living. So well, as soon as you put the windows down, that's it. It kills you. So yeah, let's get into it. There's a lot to cram in. Obviously, I think we'll probably end up going past an hour tonight. We might have a few people dropping in, joining us later on. Just waiting for confirmation if they are. But I want to start with Galal Yafai versus Rodriguez. A statement has come out from Matchroom Ring Magazine that Rodriguez returned an adverse finding in his VADA test after his win against Yafai. Obviously, it was an upset win, a big win. Nothing we haven't seen before. A Mexican coming over and beating the Brit, who's the favourite, who's meant to be dominant in whatever weight class they're in, and the Mexican comes over and does a job on him. It's something we've seen over and over again a few times. I was surprised to see it happen to Galal so soon in his career. I thought his game plan for the fight, we came up on here and we spoke about it, and how we felt that Galal's corner let him down. There was no change of game plan when stuff wasn't working, and we gave him a harsh criticism really on that performance for that fight, which rightfully so. But then this comes out that Rodriguez obviously failed a PED test. He's tested positive for PED, so he was on peds in that fight. Does that take away from the performance of what Galal put on? Firstly, before we get into the peds thing, because I'm a strong believer on peds. I can't stand it in the sport. I don't care the excuses people make. I don't care. But firstly, we'll just go with Galal's performance. Just going back on now, we know the guy was on peds. What do we take away from that performance of his?
Well, that's it. We both we spoke about it prior to obviously coming on there and knowing what we was going to talk about. We both stand by what we'd said. We didn't jump on Rodriguez instantly. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last time that a Mexican or Latino fighter comes over and absolutely outpunches, outboxes, outstrengths one of our fighters. It happens quite often. I reckon if we got the facts and figures for that, I bet we'd be really surprised. I bet we get a thrashing quite a few times, mate.
Yeah, I don't think we've got a bad record, to be fair, against them. So,
but yeah, performance. Let's not take away the performance of Galal. That despite Rodriguez being on performance enhancing drugs, he didn't change the game plan, like you say, or his team didn't. He didn't move his feet, which for a flyweight, an Olympic level flyweight, is crazy. He just got outgunned in every department for me. Obviously, then now this coming out about the peds, it does change the situation, but it doesn't change that Galal didn't try to step up or counter with anything that was going on. So we do need to keep looking at that, like Galal and his team moving forward, whether this gets stricken from his record or whatever, which obviously I imagine it will. It doesn't change that he stepped up and then he didn't shine as much as he should have done. Okay, like he didn't try matching with. In fact, all he actually tried to do was sort of match him in a firefight at times. Which, if you haven't got that in your corner, then you can't be doing something like that. I'd like to see what the team announce after, or what Eddie announces after for moving forward for him, which direction they're going to go in, who's the name they're going to step in with him. He needs to. The team needs to sit back and have a look at what they did wrong, in my opinion. That might sound harsh and critical, but I do think, mate, it's a bit of a blessing in disguise for him, this, because his performance wasn't good on the night, regardless.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we spoke about it, and I 100% agree. I think his performance was bad, but there was things in that performance that he did wrong that I think that Rodriguez, that just trying to outfight him when you couldn't do that in that moment. But we'll just cut that a minute because we've actually got someone on, someone come through. His name is Zarel. He's formerly known as Most Wanted, who boxed Joey Knight. Are you there?
Hello. You can hear me. You can hear me. You can see me.
Yeah, we can see if I'm there. Yeah, you good?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. Nice to see everyone. What's up?
Hey, man, how are you doing?
Yeah, Zarel. This is CJ, my co-host. Zarel has had, how many fights have you had? Have you just had that one fight on Misfits?
No, I had the one on Misfits, and I've had 2 white collars as well.
2 white collars. How did you get on with white collars?
Oh, the white collars was like mainly was a learning experience for me. After being on Misfits, it was like a really big crazy debut. That's my first fight, and it was a big mountain to climb with the opponent that they matched me up with. Let's call it.
Yeah.
So the white collars was really just getting me comfortable, learning what kind of fighter I am and everything like that. So it was good for like learning. I won both fights, so I did all right, I think.
Yeah, so obviously we spoke, me and you spoke on Twitter Spaces, and you mentioned that for that fight on Misfits, you actually trained yourself. You didn't really train fully, have a training team for that. Can you just tell everyone how you got about doing the Misfits and how you got into that stage of just from training yourself and stuff like that?
Yeah, pretty much, man. Like with Misfits, it's obviously a bit different from the traditional route. I did it all with this right here in my mouth, just talking all day. You know, I talk shit in a funny enough way to the right people. and I basically just, talk shit about everyone, rode the coattails of everyone, and managed to scam my way on there, really, to be honest.
I like the honesty on that. I genuinely like the honesty on it. Uh, so, what is it with boxing for you? How did you end up getting into boxing? Obviously, you said you got the fight on Misfits through your mouth and stuff like that, but boxing itself, where does that stem from for you?
Oh man, I've always been into boxing and combat sports as a whole, like MMA, boxing. I've grown up watching it all the time. It wasn't like big in my family or anything. Like none of my parents or my older siblings never was really into it. I just found it on my own, and I was like, well, listen, this is what I'm doing in school all the time, so maybe I should go and try and train. And eventually, I got into a gym, and it was like I just took to it like a duck to water. I think that's the saying. um, but
That's
yeah,
it,
no, I
mate,
took
yeah.
I took to it really, really well. And then I was really, really, really good at the beginning. Like I was like 14 years old in the gym. They were like, "Yeah, we need to put you in the adults class," and I just got beat up for like 2 years. I was just getting beat up by these big heavyweight adults, and I think that's really what made my style so aggressive and come forward and heavy, and like how it is now. But yeah, eventually I got used to it as I got older and into boxing more and more, and now I think I'm really ready just to progress and take the next step in my career.
CJ, do you have any questions before I carry on?
Yeah, so we've me and Eric obviously focusing on amateur boxing, professional boxing. We've always wanted to get someone on sort of from the Misfits and that other route, like you've just said, it is really different. Where do you see yourself going, or where do you want to go from here, mate, with your Misfits? Do you want to keep on this route, call out some more like big names in your world, and then maybe transfer over, or how do you see it going?
Nah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I kind of, let's say I burnt some bridges on the way out, from that whole Misfits influencer side of things. And so now I'm looking to get a couple of amateur fights in and then, turn over pro and take it a lot more seriously. To be honest with you, my ability back then when I had the fight was terrible. Like was said before, I didn't really train or have any camp for it. And so now I think with more time and more experience, especially getting to know some people from the Twitter spaces and getting in the gyms with people from London, taking the sport a lot more seriously, my training seriously. I personally think my ability, my attributes, and my mental like mindset, I think, especially with my chin and my power, I think I've got the potential to go all the way. I'll be honest with you. But that's just how I feel. I need to prove
Good
it.
man.
So
Nah, I
yeah.
like the confidence. Like I said, I watched the Joey Knight fight, and I said to you when we spoke about it, I felt like they set you up. They completely set you up. Obviously, you only training yourself. They've put you in with an influencer who's well known, very well known in Joey Knight, and they're pushing. Like you can see now what they're doing with him. They're pushing him um, quite a lot. So they've proper stuck it on you and set you up there. But like I said, I like your style, your game. You got dropped early. You carried on. You didn't shy away. You didn't run away. You stayed in there. And I like that. I like the fact that you're going. Obviously, you're doing white collar and amateur now, trying to hopefully go pro. I think that's if you're serious about boxing, that's where you want to be. Then and I wish you luck on that.
Nah, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Like that's literally all it is. I know there's obviously this big stigma from the professional world about this influencer YouTuber side of things, but I'm really looking to prove very, very early that none of that stuff applies to me. Am I allowed to swear on here?
Yeah, let your
Ah,
food go.
yeah,
Sure, man.
none of that shit applies to me at all. Like, none of it applies to me because I'm really different from all them YouTubers. Like, even when I was around them, like the press conference and the media workouts, all that stuff on the zone, and it was all mad production. I was looking around and I'm like these lot are nerds, bruv. Like, they're not cut from the same. Like, these, I genuinely was walking around, like, not to be egotistical. I know this is great. I'm coming across on a pro platform like a smug prick already. Hopefully
No,
not.
no, no.
But I was
Do your
looking
thing.
around at
That's
these
the whole
YouTube
point.
nerds, thinking exactly, exactly. But I was looking around at these YouTube boxers. I was like, bruv, like all of you are fucking moist, bruv. Like, I'll punch all of you lot up. Like, fucking hell. Like the only reason I lost to the guy that I got put in there with is because he's 25-0 in the white collar circuit. The guy was a
Yeah,
regional
they
champion, so I
set
don't want
you
to
up
hear it
because
about that
Joey
guy.
can fight. Joey can
Yeah,
certainly fight. They set you up on that.
bro. Do you know what's mad? Yeah, the guy Joey that I fought, he started boxing when I was 10 years old. He's 30. He's 30 years old. He started boxing when I was 10. It's all mad. None of it makes sense. But listen, I'm gonna prove it everything on the amateur circuit for a little bit. I don't know, maybe because of the conversations I've been having with people, I might just turn pro straight away, which I don't really mind either way because my style is a lot more suited to the pros, I think, anyway. So,
Well, CJ is a trainer, a coach, cutman, cornerman, just about everything. Anyway, what would you suggest, CJ, from someone coming from obviously the misfits scene where it is full of influences and stuff like that? Would you suggest
Yeah.
doing the amateurs for a little bit, then go pro, or go pro because you've been on that
Listen, mate,
platform?
I'm 30, so I'm like a dinosaur compared to you, mate. I've been there, done that. I would, if you was to take advice, pal, I would try get some amateurs in if you could. Try get a good team around you. With what you've been doing, you'll have a lot of people that'll try latch onto you, mate. Anyway, you know, that'll try to be a part of your team just because of your name. But do your amateurs, get your experience under your belt, and then turn over when you can. You'll have to apply to the board, the British Board of Boxing. And with you not having as much experience, they might make you go and do amateur fights anyway. So it's completely in your part, mate. It might be worth getting a team and going to the board and seeing what they say. But just soak in as much as you can, as much sparring as you can do. Travel to different gyms, travel and do as much as you can with as many people as you can, mate. That's how we're going to learn it, pal. And I tell you what, if me and Eric could arrange a day to come down, we'll do a training session with you, mate, and we'll bang that all over socials. That'd be good, mate.
nah, that's literally it. Nah, I fully agree. Sorry, go on, Eric. My bad.
No, well, no, we've spoken. I said to you, see, you're going to come to the watch party on next Saturday. You're going to come to the watch party next Saturday, and there'll be a few boxers there. There's a boxer there who trains people in London as well. He does one-to-one sections. Who's a pro boxer as well. He's just waiting for his British license at the moment. I can introduce you to him. And yeah, for sure, you can come up here. Obviously, CJ trainer works in gyms, so and we can sort you help you out for sure. Because like I said, we've spoke on Twitter Spaces, and you're absolutely sound. We have our banter, we have a good laugh. And at first, I didn't even know you did Misfits, and when we got into it, and then you said obviously you wanted to turn pro eventually and stuff like that, I thought you'd be a perfect guest to get on here and tell your story from Misfits to hopefully turning pro, because I know CJ, you like Misfits and that stuff.
I love it. I think it's really good for the sport, pal. A lot of people have slagged it off. A lot of, like you say, mate, a lot of influencers get a bad name on it. I think it's good. It's brought a different set of eyes to the sport, hasn't it, at the end of the day. If you can make it work for you, pal, I wish you all success in it. And if we can be a part of it with you, we'd like that. We'll advertise you and do everything we can in our way, mate. So yeah, you've got if you stick to it, mate, you'll have a big career ahead of you, because it's the right time to do this stuff.
Nah, 100%. Nah, that's literally the plan. And everything you said before about traveling and getting all the rounds in, that's literally my plan. I'm gonna be going around all of the UK. I'm gonna be going to any gym I can, and super like not on like a egotistical like these YouTubers do these ego spars. I'm gonna go there and actually like keep my head down, work with these people, try and build connections with the boxing in different gyms, different coaches, different sparring, and just literally like you said, just keep my head down and work. Whether or not I do the amateurs, I still need to like look at that and decide. But definitely, I'll come all the way to, I don't know where your gym is, but I'll come there as well. I don't mind. You can do it all.
Sweet, man. Yeah, we'd like that, wouldn't we, mate?
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we'll talk at the watch party next week. Yeah, we'll talk at the watch party next week, and we'll sort stuff out to get you some sparring and stuff up here, for sure.
Nah, definitely, 100%, 100%.
We're just getting into. Are you jumping off now, or do you want to stop around for a few minutes? We're just talking about a few things. If you want to give your opinion on them.
Nah, I can give my opinion. Yeah, sure.
Galal Yafai, his opponent obviously tested positive for PEDs. What's your stance on the PEDs in boxing and all of that stuff?
Well, we're on a live stream, so
go on, say what you
speak
say how it is, mate. Say how it is.
I mean, look, I would say every like when you talk about top 15 ranked opponents in each sanctioning body, I'd say they're 99% of them are my friends. I think so anyway. That's how I think about it. Anyone who has like a dedicated strength and conditioning person who that's their actual job, you know, like that's how I feel about it at least. And that's what I've seen. I've seen anyway. And I think that whenever I see someone get caught, I'm like, oh, what a shame he got caught. You know, the rest of them got away with it, didn't they? That's how I feel about it. Not that I'd ever take peds. I don't even take paracetamol, to be honest with you. I'm scared of that stuff. But yeah, no. I mean, look. That's how I feel about it. I'm gonna punch all of these lot up because I got hands of steel. Like even if they're on peds, they can be on the peds all they want. I think personally, yeah, and this is terrible take. Here we go. I'm gonna get so much shit for this one. But I think the other person, if they don't care, then let them do it. I think if my opponent got popped for peds and it's like a fight and I need to do this and I need to do that, I'll do it. I'll punch this guy
The
up.
problem is it's not accepted before. It's not even a case of I'll fight you, but I'm on this, by the way. Are you gonna accept the fight? It's the fact that fighters are going into fights expecting people to be clean. You've got a contract to be clean and you're not clean. Yeah, like you say, you have that take of I feel like everyone's on peds, but for me, I feel like there's certain things, obviously nutritionists and like you said, the sports science and technical stuff they've got to use and stuff like that. At the end of the day, there's a banned list for a reason. There's obviously other avenues fighters take or whatever. Like you said, you feel like they might all be on it, but whatever they're on, they're not. It's not a banned substance. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? You're not getting popped for a banned substance that's clearly banned. Whether they're taking whatever, I will never know. I don't know. Obviously, you say you've seen whatever you've seen, but we'll leave that there. But my point on that is, whatever any other fighter's doing, there's a ban list for a reason. Just like there's stuff illegal you're not allowed to do. If you get caught doing the illegal shit, you're gonna get done. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I can't stand it in the sport. I think the punishments for being banned. I think fighters get bigger fines for missing weight than failing a drug test. It's mental.
Yeah, like I mean, I hear exactly what you're saying. Like on the other hand, I do feel like look. This is how I feel. I think there's no place for it in a sport. I agree with that part of what you said. I think it's terrible. I think no one should do it. But there's a lot of things like that in boxing. There's a lot of like sanctioning fees on belts. That shouldn't be a thing. Bad judges, loads of
Yeah.
bad judges, corruption. There's all, and I just personally, whenever we like, you're a coach, for example, right? You have a fighter and
CJ.
he goes in and loses a shit decision. Everyone knows it's a shit
Yeah.
decision, but you have to. At the end of the day, you're like, it's boxing. This is kind of part of the game. You have to expect
Yeah.
something like this to happen at some point. That's how I feel about PEDs. Like I think so many of them are on PEDs. At some point, you're gonna fight someone who's on steroids, and then you're gonna lose and get knocked out like Devin Haney, and then the whole world's gonna
Whoa,
embarrass
whoa,
you,
whoa, whoa,
clowning
whoa,
you.
whoa. Let's stop. Let's stop
What?
misinformation. No one got knocked out. No one got knocked out.
You know what I mean?
No.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
No, this is what people do. They say something. Go, no, but you know what I mean. I just no.
But you get
Listen,
embarrassed in front of the world like how Devin Haney did. That's what I'm
all
saying.
right, right. There we go. There we go. Go on, CJ.
I'll change it up a bit, mate. Where so big fight, Usyk Dubois coming up, number 2. How would you see that going, pal? What's your opinion?
Oh yeah, I reckon Dubois got it. I really reckon Dubois got it. You know, I'm
Okay.
I'm one of these delusional people that think that your balls aren't actually where your bladder is. You know, so no, but honestly, I think that Usyk has had a lot of problems with the body. In my opinion, I think it's kind of like he's overly protective of it. In my opinion, especially based on the second Tyson Fury fight, I felt like he was overly protective of it, and so I definitely got Usyk. I've definitely got Dubois. Sorry, stopping him in the late rounds, like the last 3 rounds, most likely, in my opinion.
Stopping him late on, right? Okay, mate. That's good to know.
Yeah, I completely disagree, but
You're a traitor. That's why you're a little traitor.
Listen, you and Rico could do the patriotic stuff, but not me. When it comes to boxing, I don't do that. I go with my mind and my IQ. That I can't see it. I like Daniel Dubois. If Daniel Dubois won, I generally wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be upset at all. He works hard. He gets down to it. He's not. I mean, he's a bit of an oddball, but he's a guy that you can't wish bad upon. Like if something good happened to him, you'll be happy for Dubois. That's how I am with that. I feel like Usyk's going to beat him. Usyk's probably going to stop him again around the same time in the first fight. But it's a good fight. I like it. I still don't like the fact that Dubois ducked out on Parker for this fight somehow and then got this fight. I don't like that because I feel like that was intentional for me anyway.
Bro,
I feel like
you have to take that as part of the game, you know. Like I was saying earlier, you kind of have to. It's all this politics stuff. It's gonna catch up to me. Watch. It's gonna catch up.
Yeah, this weekend's we'll just run through these weekend's cards. This weekend's card you see who you got. Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano.
Oh yeah, no, Katie Taylor for sure. I think that Katie Taylor. A lot of people don't think she won the last fight. I'm not sure if I think she did either.
I think the last fight was closer than the first fight.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think the last fight was closer than the first fight. I thought Katie won the first fight. I think the second fight, I still think Katie won anyway, but I think it was closer. And I think Katie's going to win this one as well.
Fair
I don't think I feel like they can fight 100 times and Katie will win 99. It's just the style. Amanda might get that one time where, but it's just the styles of fighters and who they are. Katie wins it by her every time.
I agree. Katie's got that grit, man. I like Katie's style. Like she's got that grittiness. So yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I think Katie's gonna win this one as well. I'm also half Irish. So.
We've got Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda.
Yeah, Shakur's gonna win that. He's a really good boxer. That's exactly what he is. He's a boxer. You know, hit and not get hit and such. I'm not the biggest fan, but yeah, he's gonna win. He's definitely gonna win.
And last one, we'll go with Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz, the big
Berlanga's
one.
on a bad boy thing. Listen, and I like Shiraz, and honestly, I had him until I seen what Berlanga was on.
What does that mean?
The press conference. It means he's a bad man. You see the way he moves. He put the. You know when they see it at a press conference, the face to face. Berlanga, it happened like an hour ago. He put the knuckles on his chin. Yeah, when you feel the hard knuckles of another man on your chin and you didn't do nothing back, he didn't flinch or react. Nah, and you see what he did to Oscar De La Hoya, throwing the lingerie and high heels at him. Yeah, that was gold, bro. That was gold.
Did you not see it, CJ? Have you not
I did see it, man. Yeah.
My
phone's on 1%, by the way, so if I leave.
Nah, Zarel, I was just about to say I'm gonna let you go, bro. But thanks for jumping on. Keep us informed. Obviously, I'm going to see you next week anyway, so we'll talk. But for sparring and stuff, we'll definitely sort something out up here for you.
Nah, 100%, man. Thank you, lot, for having me on. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Later.
I'll bring a translator, mate, so I get what you mean next time with all this bad man thing stuff. I'm a dinosaur, mate. I don't know what's going on with that.
Oh, man. All right, peace, you lot. Thank you so much.
Peace, brother. Peace. That was Zarel, formerly known as Most Wanted, who fought on Misfits. I've spoken to him a few times on the Twitter Spaces and stuff. He's a good kid. He seems like he actually really wants to become a professional boxer. And let's see how his journey goes. We'll be keeping a close eye. CJ, do you want to go to some comments? What we got?
Yes,
Libster.
yes, please, bad man ting. Libster, can't wait for the Dubois fight. Yeah, we were excited. We just commented on it. Trey, big up to my brothers on a great guest. Yeah, he was a bad man guest, Trey, wasn't he? Traveling is the best way to learn and grow. It's why I want to travel more and teach abroad. Libster, exactly. Do as much as you can.
Yep. 100%.
My thing with traveling as well, I like to get a flag of every different country I've been to. So I've started like a sleeve with that as well. So the more places I travel, the better for me. It's going to go right the way up.
What you got pictures of? Selby Abbey, Selby Leisure Centre.
They've got Gould Leisure Centre on there as well.
Shout out to Cass Sports.
Boxatorium salute.
This is why you didn't win the boxing league, Eric. Well, because I'm picking Usyk.
It's,
Listen, Ricky still hasn't. Rick hasn't been on since he won the league. I don't know what's happened. That's a bit weird. He won the
I
league
think it's a
and
fix.
disappeared. He doesn't want to
Yeah.
answer to us, does he? He doesn't want to answer. He's hoping it goes away by the time he's back.
Livster, he sat at home like counting up these. He was deleting numbers. He was wiping things off, doing ones and twos, and he's being found out, and that's it. He's made a quick retreat.
Yeah. So just before Zerel jumps on, we was talking about Galal. What do you think should happen now? This positive test has come out. What do you think the outcome should be? As in, obviously, the decision getting overturned, a ban, a fine, and what's going to happen? A rematch?
No, he won't. He won't get the rematch. I don't think they take it. To be honest, mate. Until I was reading about it earlier. It's the British Boxing Board of Control and the WBC that are going to deal with it in their own ways. So until we start getting strict, and we've said this before, right? And it's quite a morbid thing or harrowing thing to say. I don't think anything's going to change in our sport, unfortunately, and God willing, I hope not. But until someone is seriously injured or worse, fatally injured by somebody in the ring, and that's not out of the question. That can happen at any single time, at any level of fight, small hall, right through to a Vegas show. Someone gets a bleed on the brain, someone gets induced into a coma, somebody's not right, concussed after a fight, and then fatally passes. Then a positive test comes out. That's when something's going to happen, unfortunately. And it's wrong. It's wrong to think it's going to have to get that far. People are so... We say this all the time. Boxing fans are so fickle. There are people right at the very top, Canelo, who's had these tests, and it just goes over everyone's heads. You know, there's certain names, there's people's fan favourites. There's still
Speaking of Canelo, sorry to cut you off, but it was a good segue there. It's actually it seems like it's another Eddie Reynoso fighter. Because he had no boxing, no life logo on his trunk, which is Eddie Reynoso and Canelo's brand. That's now, I think, the seventh fighter of Eddie Reynoso's that's popped dirty.
That's a massive fact, isn't it?
Or associated with Eddie Reynoso. I don't know if he's actually trained by Eddie, I'm not sure. But associated with him. That's a lot of fighters for one trainer and one camp. That is a lot of fighters for ED tests. And I don't think the punishments are hard enough on teams. Just the fighter getting banned, I don't think only the fighter should get banned. Because you have a trainer, you have a strength and conditioning team, you have nutritionists. You have all these people in your camp who you pay after you fight. When you get your purse, those people are on the payroll. All those people, unfortunately, should be liable to you, Popping, because you can't do it on your own. Somebody in your camp knows that you are doing this. There is certain people in your camp that knows that's happening. So whether your trainer isn't doing his due diligence and it's not him, but as a trainer, you should be knowing what. I know it's hard to obviously. I don't know what he's doing when he's there, but then in your contracts with this fighter, it should be if you fail for anything, blah 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 blah, then as a trainer, I'm not liable to anything. I don't know something because these teams, it can't be just a fighter on their own. It's somebody telling them to take those supplements or take whatever they're taking. It's somebody giving it to them. They're not doing it on their own. For
people sort of on not outside, not as if I'm an oracle of boxing or anything like that, but when I've gone through and done all my courses and gone for my licenses and training and stuff like that, part of a big section of your license to be a professional trainer or second is you go through your rights and wrongs, what you do and don't do. We've got a gentleman in called Andrew Usher. It was like top of physical training of athletes. Okay, he does camps up in Scotland, where everything's done on your machines. You're hooked up to your breathing machines when you're running, you're sprinting. They test your bloods for what you might need to improve and things like that. So there's no way when people are doing camps like that at these top levels, there's no room for slipping. Okay, everything's checked to a T. So when it's come out things like, I might be wrong here, Ez, but was it like Dillian White got popped once, but he said it was like a fucking Sudafed or something like that? There's no room for anything like that, and it's not true. To go into, I did an updated course, it's like 2 years or something now. I actually got credited for it. I've got a little card somewhere in my room of, I'm now an anti-doping coach or something like that, or on the board with it. The list, when you go on and log on, you log on as a fighter, you log on as a trainer, it tells you everything you can take, everything you can't take. There is no need for it. Once you get to a certain point, like you said, you've got someone in your team who does everything for you. You've got a person who cooks for you, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
There's no reason for the slip-ups or the accidental ones, the people that have taken something for a blocked nose, the people that have taken some eye drops and that's got something in it, right? It don't wash for me. So the only people that are popping is performance enhancing to try and get one up on their opponent. They've got to either do it lifetime bans. I don't think fine cuts it, because once you get to that certain level, money's no option to these guys. Okay, they've got to either do lifetime bans. Yeah.
I was speaking to someone, and I was saying I think it needs to be a ban of at least 4 to 5 years. Ban at least. That's the minimum any fighter should get for a PED. For failing a PED test, especially, I feel like if you fail a PED test before a fight and the fight doesn't go through, you get a 2-year ban. If you fail a PED test after a fight and you are fought on PEDs, it should be a 5-year ban. And through that 5 years of being banned, you should be, if you want to be a boxer at any point, for a full year before you are active, you need to be on 365 drug testing. That means you tell VADA, whoever it is, your location at all times, so they can pop up and test you at any time. You need to be clean for a full year before you compete. I think until that happens, because Dan on the record, from On the Record Boxing, he said, you look at the people who have popped dirty, what reward they've got. Canelo's one of the biggest draws in the sport, but he was that anyway before that. But you look at Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia failed the PED test. For a full year, he was allowed to act in a way that a professional isn't acting. Bearing in mind, Chris Eubank Jr. got fined 10 grand for misuse of social media, where he didn't swear, he wasn't racial to anybody, he didn't abuse anybody, he didn't hit anyone on the video, what he's misuse of. Whereas Ryan Garcia went on a racial tirade, he went on a tirade about kids being whatever. That he went on an absolute manic tirade for a year after failing a drugs test. He comes back to the sport to headline a card in New York Times Square, to headline a card for a world title. For a world title, straight off a ban. That this sport is a joke. It has to be a joke, because how can your punishment be you don't fight for a year, but when you come back, we will reward you with a world title shot and a main event.
Yeah.
With your face plastered all around Times Square promoting you.
They're not strict enough, mate. They're not strict enough, and it's fits and starts, and they pick and choose what works and what don't work. That was, to be fair, which we could probably switch on to now, is the next topic of being Eubank being hounded by the board for everything. I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but if we could get up the fines he's being given.
Oh, God.
I'd love to know what the amount is. I'd love to know. So this last one, that's another 10 grand, like you just said. For anyone who doesn't know, that's because they've said like misuse of social media. I mean, did Conor Benn not misuse social media as well? Do you know, during his time through it? It's wild how much they are hounding
Conor
him.
Benn is literally running around with a chain that says "not guilty" on it.
Yeah.
You failed the test. How are you not guilty? I don't get it. Yeah. Let me see if I can get this up. We have. I think we've got Aaron from Switch It is on with us now. Aaron joining us. All right, Aaron.
Hey, fellas, you all right?
Yeah.
Hi, mate, how you doing,
Bit
pal?
hot. All right, yeah, a bit warm though, isn't it?
Just a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit.
nice,
At
mate.
least you're outside.
Nice.
Just on my phone. There's literally nowhere cool in the house, so I'm having to get on the phone just to get out the heat.
Yeah. We was just
How we
touching on
doing?
the amount of. You broke up a little bit. Breaking up a little bit. Let's see. Give him a second. We'll give him a second. He'll come back in.
When you're moving about, your Wi-Fi is terrible,
Moving
isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I
terrible.
think my signal's terrible.
Yeah. We can hear you. We can hear you fine. It's just your camera's sort of gone. Are you there?
Switch him in.
Well,
Can
wait
you
for-
switch him in about us?
that
Yeah,
better?
Can you?
got you.
There we go.
Yeah, I got you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went too far away from the house.
Yeah, we was just touching on the amount of fines Chris Eubank Jr. has got since this Conor Benn fight. How unserious boxing is, because it seems like you get fined for everything but failing a PED test.
It's 10 grand again, isn't it? This one?
10 grand.
10
again,
grand?
Yeah, 10 grand. Yes, 10 grand. Yeah, for misuse of social media. Have you ever heard that?
Well, I don't understand really, because it's nothing to do with social media, is it? It's the fact that he's used a sauna and a sauna suit, which is illegal.
But they're saying that
According to the governing, according to the BBC.
But they're saying that they found out that he didn't use a sauna. So basically, what they've done is they've seen a video of what he's put out, thought he'd used a sauna, gone to investigate it. It turned out he didn't use a sauna, but then they're going to fine him anyway because he portrayed that he used a sauna. Like, it's literally like getting in trouble with your parents anyway, even if you were right. Like, it's crazy. Absolutely mental.
Have they not had enough money out of him? Like, was it 100? How much was it? 100 grand fine for the egg?
Yeah.
100 grand fine for the egg.
Was it 500?
No, it's 100, wasn't it? And then he got 100 grand fine, I think, for the egg. He got 500 or something for the weigh-in.
Yeah, 500
for missing weight by a couple of ounces,
yeah,
which is ridiculous. I think it's all just a bit of a show, really. That how true a lot of that is, I don't know, because to me,
seriously, are they really
they're just showmen, aren't they?
Money off him? Are they really taking that much money off him? That's absolutely crazy to me. That a sanctioning body can fine you that much money for one camp.
But if it's in the contract, mate, it's in the contract, isn't it? You know, the governing body, but the actual contract, then that can be crazy, can't it?
Eventually, I don't know what they were doing with that contract. In the case of being fined that much for missing that little amount of weight, I think that's crazy. Well, we'll go on to go on, CJ.
I was just going to say, for those that don't know you, Aaron, would you just want to tell a bit about yourself and what you do, pal?
Yeah, so I've got a business with Junior Witter called Switch It Customs. We customise boxing boots, gloves, head guards, groin guards, things like that. Do a lot of work for professionals. Just recently, Shaq and Pitters in the fight with Bradley Ray. He's just boxed in a pair. Casey Ducey last week, but I don't think she wore him for some reason. I don't know why. I've not heard anything back, but we've done lots over the years for for pros. People like Brooke,
I'm not
Billy
sure. I've
Joe,
got a few.
etc.
I'm not sure. I've got a few pictures, but they don't show the.
From what I've seen, mate, from what I've seen, she didn't have them on. She had some white ones on. Not sure why.
I'm not
Sometimes
sure,
happens.
but yeah, sorry, I've got this on here. Messing about. Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
done lots of boots over the years, obviously, amateurs, pros, whatever. And obviously, I have a custom trainer business as well, but that's mostly just anything. Whereas, like, obviously, the boxing boots are just pretty much with interest to what we're talking about this evening.
Yeah.
You speaking on Casey, we've interviewed Casey, and she got her first win as a professional on a debut. CJ, you were there at the away corner most of that night. Do you want to tell us about that event and Casey's performance and whatnot?
It was a good event, mate. They always put on good shows. Magna Centre in Rotherham. Casey, long awaited debut. She's had there was a pull out on her last one, so she actually didn't. That was a couple of months ago now, wasn't it? But there was some good fighting on it. Did you get to see a fight, Aaron?
I didn't, mate. No. I think Junior had a couple of guys on at that show as well, didn't he? He had Nathan and Ryan. Nathan Darby were on there. I think he got a draw. And Ryan, the Mantis, he was on there. He were actually boxing a pair of boots we did as well, Ryan. But Ryan got another win. I think he's 4-0, 5-0 now. So, yeah, I didn't actually catch any of the show. I meant to watch it back. I spoke to Junior and he said both his guys performed well. Like
Nathan Darby is really talented, isn't he? For someone who's coming in the away corner the whole time. He's really good on his feet. I actually got to speak to him upstairs. Someone were talking to him. I was guessing, I might be wrong here, who didn't know too much about boxing and had said, well, I can't believe you've only got a draw with that. And I was trying to explain to him as an away fighter, as a journeyman, you going away and getting a draw is as good as a win on the road. But I don't think
you basically won, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think by the sounds of it, he won the fight, but obviously they give it a draw. But I think Nathan's. He can pretty much, if he wants to, he can. He can win. He can win fights, but he's. Did you hear me now?
Yeah, you were just breaking up a little bit. Yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah, I think. Do you hear me? Yeah? I was just saying. I think Nathan's one of them. If he wants to turn up and push somebody and win a fight, he can. He's a very talented kid from what I've seen. But obviously, he's out there earning a living, isn't he? Doing what he's doing, bill to bill, basically. So yeah, he's a very talented kid. He knows his way around the ring, and if he's got a draw, then that means he's probably won, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's really impressed me. Both times he's come to Magna Centre, he's got a draw in the away corner. So he was chuffed a bit for that. And like you say, that's like 2 wins on your record for me as a journeyman. So yeah, really good kid. Got to speak to him a couple of times.
He's won a couple, yeah.
Yeah,
Junior's sound.
Really good.
I haven't seen him for about a month because I do a lot of trainers as well, and it's been the Oasis reunion and whatnot. So I've just had a lot of work on. So I've had to train around here rather than getting up to juniors lately. But I'll pop up next week and see him at some point.
Speaking of junior and Dom Hunt, your fighter, and a friend of yours, Aaron, he's got his trilogy fight, back-to-back trilogy fight with Moorcroft. You want to tell us a bit about Dom and his trilogy fight?
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with the first 2 fights, but I thought Dom won them both, to be honest. The first fight were a little bit closer. Maybe could have, given a draw because he's the away fighter on a Steve Wood show. But then the second fight, the decision for a draw was just absolutely laughable. Like I had Dom winning by three rounds, 2 rounds clear, maybe 3 rounds in a 10-round fight. So it weren't close for me. But I think he'll win. I think he'll win this third one because he's won the first 2 in my eyes, and I think it's just a case of doing what you've done already. I don't think Moorcroft's got the ability to switch it up and put it on Dom. he's a nice, tidy boxer, but Dom's work rate is just going to be too much for him. Down the stretch in the last fight, Dom won the championship rounds, and I think he'll do the same again. If not, I think Dom might even stop him this time. I think he's going to go in there with a lot of intent. So I think it'll be a Dom Hunt stoppage, maybe eighth round. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I'm pals with Dom, but I know how much effort he puts in. And now he's super fit, mate. He's one of the fittest kids I've ever seen. No one will outwork him. No one. So yeah, I fancy him to outstretch this time. As I say, I believe he won first two. Certainly won the last fight. But they're both good operators at that level. And the next, one of the guys kicks on from here, and the other guy's pretty much, it's kind of probably career over. Do you know what I mean? Because they're both not getting any younger, and they've both done this fight 3 times now. They're both eaten up a lot of each other's time, haven't they, in the last 18 months? So I really do think it's or bust, to be honest, in that fight for either man. I do.
Shout out to Stay Wading, Abbas and Ray. Brian Kelso, evening lads, late on joining you guys. How are you all doing? We're good. Heard that Connor won, so congratulations on that. And hopefully we can get you on soon. Next week, hopefully. I think Ricky's back next week. I think. I think Ricky's back next week.
I was in away corner against his son, as on that one. Connor Kelso boxed on the same show. Aaron boxed Stephen Maguire. So he was a tough lad. He was a real tough kid from Dublin. Just ticking over. Apparently, there's some really big fight news in September. Hoping Brian or Connor might give us a cheeky exclusive. You never know. If we keep asking, we might get one. But yeah, Dom Hunt, he's got a proper Cinderella story, really, hasn't he, mate? He's one of the good guys in boxing. I've been for a few of his fights, and like you say, it needs to be done now, doesn't it? With Moorcroft, it needs to be done and out of the way. So whatever's going to happen is going to happen for both men.
Yeah. I mean, they've been good fights, to be fair. So, I mean, kind of warrants a trilogy, I guess. But for me, it just weren't close, the last one. So I don't see why. Well, I see why, obviously, the decision's gone as it has. But I can see why they're doing it again. I mean, you've got to give it up to them as well, because neither man's tried to get out of doing the rematch. They've both wanted it both times. So, you've got to give them both the plaudits. They've not tried to run away from it, either man, for whatever reason. You don't often get that, do you? Especially at that kind of small hole level. You don't see many trilogies, do you, these days?
No, one person normally just goes, you know what, let me just move on and try something else.
Fuck this, I'm off.
Yeah. I know for a fact Dom will have had offers, and big names thrown his way. So to not take them and want to persist with Moorcroft and bury the hatchet properly, do you know what I mean? Fair play to him, but I'm rooting for Dom, obviously, and I do think he'll win. Even if we weren't mates watching that second fight, I try and be as non-biased as I can be, but I think he's got Moorcroft's number, but we'll see. I mean, he's got Crawler in that corner, and he's quite an astute guy as well, isn't he? So you never know, he might change things up.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think we keep going from segment to segment just perfectly. My next one was going to be talking about William Crawler. Obviously suffering his first defeat as a pro, a defeat that wasn't expected. I feel like he was expected to get in there and do a job on this kid. He got caught and he didn't really change much. He kept getting caught with sort of the same shot. I feel like the stoppage was probably a little bit early, but he wasn't throwing back. He was covering up. His head was down. It's not as if he could see where the punches was coming from and the guy was hitting his gloves and he was actively protecting himself. He knew what he was doing. He was sort of in the corner with his hands up but his head down. And if you're not looking at your opponent, you can't protect yourself properly. So I'm not too mad about the stoppage. I feel sometimes for kids like Crawler, kids who come into the game like with this name, Eddie Hearn saying, oh, he's like Golovkin and he's like this. he's coming to the game under his brother's name. He hasn't wanted that. He's wanted to do his own thing and stuff like that, and they've pushed him that way. Sometimes a loss early in your career at this point is probably good for Crawler. He can go back to the drawing board, rebuild, and catch up and move on again, because you're early in your career. You haven't lost anything. You've lost a fight. You haven't lost anything as in rankings or stuff like that. It's very early on in his career. You can certainly rebuild. I think he's a good fighter. Sometimes you get caught and you can't recover in fights. CJ?
Yeah, I mean, if Crawler, this will be the biggest test for him now to see how he does come back. I do think when you've got that name, when you've got a family name in boxing, obviously we've just had that massive saga with Ben and Eubank. We're going to run it back. When you've got a name, you get a lot of expectation, you get a lot of eyes on you already, and you do get a different route and different career. Would an average fighter, and Aaron know this as well, would an average fighter with an 8-0 record who didn't have that name, would he'd be still on small hall shows? He wouldn't be selling out, Manchester Arena and things like that. So if he's going to come back from this, it may be one of the best things that's happened to him in his career. I mean, he's got a lot of promise. He's only 26 years old. I mean, he's knocked out 6 of his 8 opponents. I think 5 of that were in first round. So he's got power. He's got talent. He's obviously got Crawler in his corner, Anthony's brother, with worlds of experience, took everything in from Joe Gallagher and is now training his own fighters. That's
very good coach boxing as well.
Oh, he's a fantastic coach, mate. Yeah, this is boxing, isn't it? Fraser Wilkinson was an absolute underdog. Went in there as a 12-2 fighter. Nobody. I'd love to see the odds on it before going in. I bet no one gave him a prayer. So fingers crossed. He sticks with what he's doing. I imagine his brother won't let him just get out of it like that. And we'll see what he's made of when he comes back.
Yeah, I thought Wilkinson performed really well. He looked levels above Crawler for me. I thought he's a decent fighter, Wilkinson. I'd be interested to see more from him. Crawler can rebuild, obviously. Like you say, they chuck these guys in the deep end because they're names of a world champion brother. And he's too early for him. There's a lot of pressure on him on these big TV shows. And I understand that he was a very good amateur, William Crawler, but then he took some years off. And don't matter how old you are, the sport's unforgiving. If you have 6 months, a year, you know what I mean, out the ring, out the gym, it's not good for you, and it sets you back. You probably lose a bit of that mental toughness, that tough, being able to take a body shot. Although it probably a little bit of an early stoppage, like you say, Eric. I do think it will only go in one way, that fight. Yeah, I'm impressed with that kid. He looks a decent kid. I'd like to see him again, Wilkinson.
Yeah, I don't think the stoppage was as bad as people were making out, because even Ant Crawler, he went over straight away to their corner, shook their hands, went over to referee, shook it. He didn't seem to have too much issue with it. Crawler wouldn't have sat there.
Crawler know though, don't they?
Yeah, Crawler wouldn't have sat there and let his brother take too much. He would have. The towel would have come in anyway if it had carried on. I don't want to see a rematch, because I feel like when they do that, it goes. I said this when Campbell Hatton lost to Jimmy Joe. I said at the time when there's a rematch, I said, don't do the rematch. You gain nothing for a rematch against somebody like that, because one, they don't really have a name. Their name now is attached to you. They have a name because they beat you. Yeah, you haven't done anything in the sport to gain a name, but you have a name. The only person that gains from a rematch is them, because they've already beaten you. Like, you don't gain anything. You beat them. It took you 2 times, and then you went back again and if you don't win, you see what happened to, obviously, Campbell. Unfortunately, I think Crawler should go to your learning fights again. Just step down one level. Just step back down that one level and learn. There's no point for an immediate rematch. CJ, Brian has a question for you.
What's your honest thoughts on Connor's fight on Saturday? CJ Hughes in the opposite corner. Me personally couldn't believe how much grease went on him. Also, thank you for the drink. Promised you I'd buy you a drink, mate. When I was stood up corner, I was looking out for you, but I couldn't quite see it for most of it. Connor's leagues above, isn't he, mate? I've never seen Connor. I mean, when he went over to Ireland and did what he did, it's not got the credit it deserves. Winning his Commonwealth title in someone's backyard, mate. Connor's a great fighter. I think he's going to go on to be, and I'm not just saying it because you're his dad, mate, or I've been lucky enough to be in the gym with Connor, train alongside him. I think Connor is going to be a great. I really do. The coach that was in the corner with me, I brought all my Cutman kit with me. Big, you have like your sweatband on and it's full of Vaseline, like in a little tin. And he'd run out of his own in the second round, and that was a full pot of like that petroleum jelly shit. And I put my wrist up to it, swiped it on, and he just dabbed it over that. Was it Stephen Maguire? I think he would call his face. I did think the referee might have pulled him on it, but he didn't. And I in the corner, I was trying to like take a bit off him. But that Stephen had a really bad cold sore on his lip, and it was splitting and bleeding throughout. So I do think main of it down here on his beard and his face, he was trying to just cover that shit up, to be fair, mate. But yeah, Connor, I can't wait to see what the news is in September. You're not going to give us a clue, are you, Brian? You couldn't give us a clue now and tell me as an Aaron what the plans are. Did you get to see Connor's fight? Oh no, sorry, you haven't seen. You haven't looked at the show yet, Aaron, have you? Make sure you go on and have a look and see what you think.
No, I got watching the other show on TV on obviously what's his name? Main event last week. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Eubank Catchell.
Eubank and Jack Catchell. Sorry, yeah. So I got caught watching that instead, to be honest. And I've not had a chance to go back to it yet. I take it you've already touched on all that show anyway, haven't you?
No, we haven't actually.
No,
we haven't
not
got there
really,
yet.
mate. No,
Because we didn't do a show on Tuesday. We're like, this is why I said this is going to be a long one. We're already an hour in. We've just chatted. We had Zarel Most Wanted from Misfits, kid who did Misfits. He fought that Joey Knight.
All right, yeah, he's quite good at minute. That Joey Knight, decent little boxer.
That Zarel fought him on his first fight, both of the first fights, and he's wanting to do pro and stuff like that. I've spoken to him a few times on Twitter, so we got him on. He was on for like 15 minutes, and we've just chatted really. But we can go to that actually. Jack Catchell versus Eubank. What did you make of that as?
Terrible fight, wasn't it? Shocking. But I'm not a Catchell fan. I've got to be honest. I appreciate what he can. I appreciate what he does, but it's not good on the eye, is it? And I think you're always going to get that with Catchell. He's a bit of a spoiler, and that's just how he fights. He likes to stay out of pocket, doesn't he? He's clever. He'll draw people in. But when you got two guys who like to stand outside the pocket, and Eubank was boxing like Chris Eubank Senior in his pomp, you know, all his showboating and his daft little twitchy movements on outside, and but feinting outside and not really like feinting to break the gap or anything like that. He just stayed on the outside, so he's feinting for no point at all. It kind of reminded me in a way of the last time when we spoke about the Maxi Hughes and my head's fighting out. Maxi Hughes, who did fight the Southern kid, Alfie Sharp. Yeah. It reminded me of that at times because there were just no action. It reminded me of that so much. Obviously, you got a little bit more out of there. Catchell's clever, but my God, he's boring to watch.
Yeah, I were watching it, and to be honest with you, the first 3 rounds, I was just like, Hallam, what are you doing? You literally standing on the outside, just moving your hips and your upper body, not doing anything, not trying to do anything. But I thought I actually gave him, I'm sure I gave him, what did I give him? 4, 5, and 6. I thought I gave him 4, 5, and 6, or 5 and 6 for sure, because I felt like Catchell didn't do anything. and Harlem actually tried to actually changed what he was doing in the first 3 rounds. In the first 3 or 4 rounds, he wasn't doing anything. 5 and 6, he actually landed straight shots.
I actually had Cattrall beat. I had Taylor beating Cattrall last fight. I had Taylor winning that fight.
Did you?
I can't believe that Cattrall got that nod. I think it was just purely because of the controversy in the first fight that he got the nod, and the DAZN commentary was so biased it was ridiculous. And I thought Josh Taylor won that second fight by 2 rounds.
Yeah, I don't listen to commentary, but I thought when it went to the judges, when that went to the judges for the cuts, I thought they might have gave it to Harlem because nothing really happened in that fight, and the shots you remembered from that fight, Harlem landed them. I don't remember a single shot what Cattrall landed. To be quite honest with you, the first 3 rounds he certainly won because Harlem didn't do anything, but the 3 rounds after that. The 7th round, I don't know if they scored it, but I don't know how they scored it. But the 7th round, the head clash, I know a lot of people was blaming Harlem for that. It's a southpaw versus an orthodox. Both of them are awkward. Both of them don't like to come inside. They both lunged in, and that's what you get with an orthodox and a southpaw, which we're going to see more of that on this week, tomorrow night. To be quite honest with you, that's what you're going to get tomorrow night. It's going to be a head clash city on Netflix. We've got the all women's card on Netflix next week. CJ, what did you make of the tomorrow? Sorry, what did you make of Jack Cattrall, Harlem?
Yeah, he's not exciting to watch, is it? All Cattrall. The cautious performance again from him. Neither fighter willing to take a chance, take a risk, if you like, to get the upper hand. I wouldn't have been surprised if Harlem had got the nod after the cut as well. Like you said, truthfully, they won't run it back. Cattrall's team won't run it back as much as Eubank will want that. It was an awful fight. I don't think anyone wants.
No one wants it back. No one wants it back. Eubank wants it back for sake. Like nobody wants to see that fight again.
No,
Jerry v. Jerry won it.
Do you know, I've got I screenshotted that, mate, because I wanted to comment on that, but I'll just finish. Just like I think it showed Eubank deserves another shot at a high level. He's not a fantastic fighter to watch. You're not on the end of your seat watching him, but he's proved that he was in there with Cattrall. He didn't get outclassed for the 6 rounds, did he?
Let me just say this. I feel like as the fight was about to turn, it was just about to heat up because, like I said, the 5th and the 6th round, Eubank actually started to throw punches. He actually started to move forward. And I felt like the fight was just about to... And I was like watching thinking, hold on a minute, Eubank's starting to get back into this fight here. This might actually... And then, boom, the head clash happened. But I feel for Eubank because the first 3-4 rounds he did nothing. He didn't cover himself in glory. Let's be honest. You need to do something against Jack Cattrall for people to say it's a good fight. Like you can't expect it to come from Jack. So he didn't cover himself in glory for the first 3 to 4 rounds. I think 4th round he did better. But 5 and 6 showed me like this fight seemingly it was about to start to turn. The tide was about to start to turn, and Eubank, whether he was going to up the pressure and actually throw punches in the later half of the fight, which is what he's saying that was his game plan, which is what we've seen from him, to be honest, with the opponents he's had. Early on, he doesn't really do much, and then later he swarms and lets his hands go like a madman. So I do feel for him in a way, but I don't know how many opportunities he's going to get. I really don't know how many opportunities he's going to get off of this.
He's not very likable.
Where's Senior gone? Where's Senior? Where's he gone?
Don't know. Maybe the fact that the relationship with Senior and Junior has repaired that Harlem's been left out in the cold. Because whilst Junior was there,
it was son. They were calling Harlem his son 2 months ago, wasn't he?
Exactly. Exactly. So
Just on the fight, just on the cuts though. You just mentioned, CJ, that you do cuts. What did you think to the doctor?
That cut was horrific though.
It's one of the worst I've seen.
Yeah.
Why did the doctor say it's okay to continue though? What was the doctor? No, because the doctor said to Catherine, was like, "Yeah, you're fine." Then the referee looked at it. The referee was like, "Nah, I'm going to the commissioner or something." I think the referee went to I don't know what he did. He went to the desk or something. Was like,
Bob Williams took it elsewhere, didn't he? Bob Williams was like, "I don't think you're seeing this."
He's like, "Nah, I'm not listening to you."
I've never seen a doctor so not pull a fight. Normally contesting it, aren't you, saying it's not that bad a cut, he could have maybe gone on. That was horrific. And I also thought Harlem's were terrible as well. That should have been stopped. Harlem's were bad enough to stop the fight as well.
I think Doctor must have been getting paid by round, mate, so he's trying to make it stick in there so he could watch on. But
These are the cuts. These are the cuts.
Yeah.
That is horrendous.
Terrific. If it had carried on.
Go on, sorry, mate.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if they'd allowed that to carry on for 30 seconds more, the guy could have gone blind. God knows what could have happened. I mean, it's a horrific cut, that. So bad.
When I did my course, your bread and butter, it might sound stupid to say, like, the obvious is obviously eyebrow above the eye. Anything that then is running down into your eye, affecting your vision, can affect your vision. That's where the stopping comes into it. But that's gaping. There's no fixing that. All you can do there is put your swab in and vas over, but it's not going to do anything. Your Vaseline is just going to sit in then the flap. So there was no fixing it.
The first punch, and that's it. It rips back, straight back open. The first punch, even
it's going to rip even more.
Just touching it. Just touching it. Go on, Ash.
Remember Klitschko against Lewis? I mean, that is the worst cut I've ever seen. But they were trying to pack like bits of cotton bud. They were pulling the bud ends off and put it into his cut and then trying to pass over the top of it.
Absolute madness.
I had a bad cut on Saturday, Aaron, to be fair, and I started shitting myself, to be honest. She was I think she was from Kenya, the last Nicoline she was called, and she was panicking. She was really panicking, and every time I went near it, she kept like moving her head away like this, and I was like, "Can I just stay still? I need to get it on." As if I send you it through on WhatsApp, see if you can
I was literally looking for it. I found it actually.
Obviously, it's like nowhere near as bad as Catchall one, but for me, like when the pressure's on and it felt like you've got all eyes on you, I was shitting myself with that one. I thought
have you been doing it?
Stopped, to be honest.
Have you been doing it long?
Mate.
You've been doing the cuts long?
I've only had my license within a year, mate. So probably.
I think it's just probably going to be an experience thing, that, mate. Isn't it? The more you deal with it, the more you'll calm down, and
absolutely, mate. It's gaining that experience with it, and it's actually having the cuts in it. You need to have the cuts to deal with them, to see it.
Different types of cuts, different things are going to affect your vision, or is it under the eye, over the eye, things like that. You get a lot of head clashes, don't you, and splits up here, which can run into your eye, which are a nightmare.
Yeah, that's it. That was a head clash.
Bad enough.
That was.
It's bad enough when you get sweat. It's bad enough when you get sweat in your eye in your boxing. Never mind blood. So
it's horrible. Horrible sweat.
You can't. It stings, doesn't it? Like.
My fringes are like I don't really do much now, but my fringe would be down here and be just in my eyes, a nightmare. But yeah, so I can't imagine what it's like blood. Yeah, you'd be all right.
That problem, oh, cue ball idea. There's some nasty cuts with stuff though. I did my course with John Pegg. I mean, have you met him or...
I know. Yeah, I know. But I've done work for some of his lads. Yeah.
Have you? Oh, good.
Yeah.
He's a top guy. He was telling me some of the things that they've used in the corner, like when you're keeping your swelling down, like your iron and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He was like, there was a swelling that was just so tight in the corner, I couldn't get my iron in. Oh yeah. I thought that was fairly nasty.
I can't see it on here. I'll have to look back later on, but it looks swelled, doesn't it?
Yeah, you've got to zoom in to see it. And I
was
can't
just gaping.
do all that.
No, don't worry, mate. I was just trying to get that in. But yeah, he actually ended up just using his thumb. So he kept his thumb in the ice during the round, John Pegg, and then got it into the corner just to iron the swelling out. Yeah, it's
not a bad idea, is it?
Not really, mate. No, you don't need many tools then, do you? Just take your hand with you, stick it in bucket.
Who's the top coachman in the world then now? Is it Stitch Duran? Is he like number one or Russ Amber or someone like that?
Stitch is well up there, isn't he? But
who were the Mexican guy who sorted out Klitschko? Not Klitschko, sorry. The Mexican guy who sorted out Tyson Fury against Wally.
Oh, he did a right job, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did a right job that night. Yeah.
Who was that? I don't know who that was actually. Was that Stitch? Wasn't that Stitch?
No. I think it.
He's had Stitch before.
I think it was.
He's had him before.
I don't think it were him. I think it was just some Mexican guy they had in. I'm not sure. I might be wrong. I don't know. I can't remember. But yeah, that were a horrendous cut as well, weren't it? Sorry,
there was something you wanted to touch on. You said you were going to come back to. I'm trying to remember what we were talking about, but I forgot now. I'm trying to remember.
That's well done.
I'm trying to remember what you wanted to touch on.
I've watched Joe Yerrill a few times, Cutman Joe. Have you met him, Aaron? He's a really nice fella. He was giving me some tips afterwards.
No, I've not met him, but I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, he seemed a good guy. I came to him afterwards and that, yeah.
Jamie Sheldon seems to be everywhere, doesn't he? You mentioned Jamie. He's in everyone's corner, isn't he, these days, Jamie Sheldon?
But that was his show on Saturday. That was
I saw that, yeah. I didn't realise he'd gone into promoting. That his first show?
No, not his first.
Wait, I thought it was Ryan Rhodes. Was it not Ryan Rhodes?
Yeah, there was. I think they're in work together, mate. I don't know how it's sort of all going. Obviously,
now Steffi's not on scene. Have they gone?
I'm guessing
doing
so,
a lot
mate.
more
Yeah.
now. Again, Ryan seems to be active again now.
Yeah,
he was.
Somebody's going to have to be, because there's going to be a big gap there if someone doesn't jump in where Steffi's left, because we're going to lose a lot of shows, and it's a bit of a crying shame for Doncaster as well and Rotherham, because he would actually put shows on Steffi, wouldn't he? So hopefully Ryan will branch out a bit, and maybe Jamie Sheldon will team up with him, and they can get some shows on at Dome and Magnum a bit more often, maybe, eh?
Absolutely,
that's what we need.
There's so much talent around there, isn't there?
Yeah, loads, mate. I mean, you could have a full Sheffield Arena card, Dave Allen topping bill, and it'd be quality stuff, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
I'm hearing, or someone's put something about Dave Allen versus TKV might be in the works. What do you two make of that? Let me go CJ first, because I saw the smile on his face as soon as he seen that. He heard that. Jamie TKV versus Dave Allen. I think
I've seen that, yeah.
And I hope it's for the British title.
So is TKV still boxing David Adelaide?
No, Adelaide's dipped out. He's got a fight. Who's Adelaide fighting? Adelaide's fighting
Hrgovic.
Yeah.
Fuck off, is it? I didn't say that.
Hrgovic.
Yeah, Adelaide's moved on.
Hrgovic, big step up that.
I think that will be for the British title, though. Dave versus TKV.
I literally at 20 to 5 today I still getting me emails from British Board that David Adelaide versus Toshiba will take place Saturday the 23rd. That's still listed, and that was today.
Really?
Yeah. I've got it there.
I think he got called. I think that's because it's been called for, but obviously they've gone the other way, so maybe they've not finalised and said it's gone.
Dave will get stripped by the British. He'll get stripped to the title. TKV will fight Dave Allen for it. That's what's going to happen. Or TKV will fight.
What if Fraser Clark wants to jump in, though?
No, what
if Fraser Clark wants to jump in, though? Surely he's above Allen.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That's why I changed.
It's all about who promotes you, doesn't it? It's all about money.
Yeah. That's why I changed it to TKV will fight for it. Will fight for it next. The board will order TKV versus, because they ordered an immediate rematch. So TKV has the right to fight for that belt now over anyone. So it'll be him versus I'm guessing number 2 or number 3 or whoever it is in they make mandate. which I think I
It
don't
should
know
be.
who
It should
they'll
be
land
Fraser,
in.
but it won't be.
No, I don't think it
It
will
should
be
be Fraser
because
Clark.
if it was, I think if Fisher had beat Allen, they'd have put Fisher in for that fight. It would have been Fisher fighting for that title. If Fisher had beat Allen, they'd have gone for
Well,
that British title against TKB.
what do you think? Do you think Dave will beat him?
I think
I
Dave has
do,
the ability to. I think Dave has the ability to beat a lot of these British heavyweights who are on the British scene, not the Atomas, because I don't class him as on the British scene anymore. He's surpassed that scene. Yeah, I think I've not been impressed with TKB's last two performances, especially.
No.
I've really not been impressed with him. Trey, Trey, yeah, Trey, we know, bro, we know. But yeah, I've not been impressed with TKB. Especially the fight before the Adelaide fight. I thought he was so you can't jab to a Dave's body like that, like how he jabs to the body really slow. Like it's so slow, and I just think you just get countered or uppercutted easy.
I think Dave would knock him out. Yeah.
Yeah, I generally think Dave could stop him. Look at CJ's smile. He's been waiting for the day for me to say that someone's going to stop TKB.
I'm not a fan of TKB and his last performances. And he's awkward, isn't he? You know, he's not fan friendly to watch. I do think if Dave hadn't been interested, and he's always said he wants that British. TKB is a good fighter. Like at domestic level, he's just not got. He's not had good performances. If Dave hadn't made it so clear that he wants a British title, I would have said avoid that fight, fuck it off, go take a big money fight like there was talked on Wilder and stuff like that. Whether or not how true it was, but earn that money in your back end of your career. Go do what you're going to do. And I would have said Fraser Clark to fight TKB, truthfully. I do like Fraser. I'd like to see him come back to see what he could have done. But yeah, Trey's hit it on the head there. It's all about the money. It absolutely is. Who's promoting you? Who's backing you? How much noise you make? Did you see that Fisher's getting trained by Dave Allen now?
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's getting trained by him. I think Fisher. He's come up here to do some sparring and probably work alongside with him, and Dave's just took him on patio.
It's a bit of PR, isn't it? It's all about Instagram.
Yeah. Perfect PR stunt. They were sort of mates anyway. They sparred before. It's sort of an organic thing, but they've took advantage of it with the publicity and stuff like that. And it's good for Dave though. It's good to see that there's a bit of PR behind him. Because it's what is needed really in his career, is where he gets promoted properly. I know he's been with Eddie before, but he was always been that guy that just chuck in. You know what I mean? But falls out. Yeah, ring Dave. Dave will do it. That's
the worry now, though, isn't it? That's the worry now, because if they just chuck him in with a Parker for a payday, he's back down again now.
Exactly.
And he'll get and no offense to Dave, but he'd get a good hiding off Parker. No two ways about it. Parker's at a level. A world level fighter.
Certainly.
Wilder, now that is an interesting fight. I think Dave can win that fight now. Because watching
the Wilder fight now, makes sense for Dave now.
I think that could be his next fight.
Wilder will not take that fight now.
I don't know.
He won't take that fight. No, Wilder will not take that fight.
There's maybe not enough money, but if you got him on a Saudi show,
Wilder believes in his head he can become a world champion. He's banking on them Usyk winning and them world titles scattering, and he could fight and just anybody for it. Because Wilder's a name. When you're a name in the heavyweight division, your record means nothing. Your record literally means nothing. If you are a name, people will watch you. But as much as people think or don't rate Wilder, you know me, as for years I've always said. You're right. I've always said he's overrated. His power is overrated to me, to what people are saying. I believe he has power. I'm not saying he hasn't got power, but the
Definitely
way
got power.
people, the way people go on that is power. I've never believed it. Never ever believed it for years. We've spoke about this, so he'll get a fight. He'll get a big fight, but Dave Allen won't be that fight. I'm telling you now. He'll get a
No,
big
I
fight,
think
Dave Allen.
I think it's quite unlikely, but it's one of them fantasy fights, and you'd love to see it, wouldn't you? You'd love to see Dave. Yeah, you'd love it.
100%. Love it for Dave. We've gone on a massive tangent on stuff this weekend. Shall we? Before actually, there is one thing I wanted to talk about before thingy. We have the one and only. Well, his son couldn't make it, so he's decided to do it himself. Ricky Hatton has come out of retirement and is fighting again. What do we make of that, CJ?
It must be broke, mate. That's it. It's just for money, and it's a shame now, isn't it? I mean, what is this? His third comeback. You don't want to see it, man.
Yeah.
There's only one fight for Ricky Hatton, Junior Witter. That's the only fight I want to see him have.
Do you think Junior would do it, Aaron?
Yeah, in a heartbeat, mate.
Junior's always wanted to fight him. Ricky just never wanted to fight Junior.
He'd probably tell me off for saying this, but I think Junior would do it for about 20 quid, mate. I think he just wants to get hold of Ricky and have a scrap. I mean, they're pals now anyway, but it's all water under the bridge. But if there's one fight that you'd genuinely pay money to see Ricky Hatton in, it's Junior Witter. That fight, it's one of the only British big fights. We're still waiting on Calzaghe Froch as such. So it's one of them, and it never happened, and it should have. And it's a crying shame it didn't happen.
I've got a funny story about Ricky Hatton. I met him in Benidorm on my mate's stag do. Went with a lot of lads from Donny actually. Went to stag do, seeing Ricky Hatton in this bar. We had wax shoots. So we were going to wax our mate. We got Ricky Hatton on video waxing our mate who were getting married. He's literally bleeding across his chest, waxed his face as well. It was mad. I'm going to have to find them videos, but it was quite funny actually. But yeah, that was a weird one that I'd seen, that Ricky Hatton he's decided to come back on a Ring magazine card. So, but this weekend's fights, we'll just touch on this weekend's cards. We've got the women's card tomorrow night. A lot of fights on there, but we'll just really touch on the main event on that one. A couple of fights actually on there, because Savannah Marshall's back in action against Shadeja Green, I want to say. What do you think about Savannah? Do you think she's back? She can still mix it at that top level, or is it just dwindling down really, her career? Was her career just about Clarissa Shields and that were it?
No, I don't think Savannah Marshall's a flashing pan, mate. I think she's a big-hearted girl. She's learned a lot on her ways. Obviously, her career's not sort of done what we expected. When she boxed Shields, it was as if she got rabbit in headlights sort of syndrome. You know, she looked gun shy. She didn't know what to do. I'd like to think we get to see a different version of Savannah now. Now that's sort of all out of the way. I hope that doesn't come back into something anyway with Shields, but she's got all the talent in the world. She's a really nice person as well. Met her a couple of times on the circuit. But how long has she been at Ring now, Wes? How long's this?
I'm not sure. She's been out over a year.
Over a year, so it can take it so long.
She's done MMA though. She has been training. I know she's had an MMA fight, or maybe 2 MMA fights. But this is a good fight. This is a very good fight she's in. Shadeja Green, American. I know quite a few of the Americans are high on her. She did lose to Franchon Cruz, who Savannah's already beaten. So I think Savannah beats her in this fight. I think possibly Savannah could stop her. To be quite honest, because I've seen Shadeja Green in a big fight. A big fight was Franchon Cruz, and she didn't let her hands go. It was as if, like you said, rabbit in the headlights. It felt like she was literally rabbit in the headlights against Franchon Cruz for me. So I've got Savannah on that one. Aaron, who you got?
To be honest with you, mate, I'm going to miss all that card because I'm going to Oasis tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you are, aren't you?
So I'm not even remotely interested in that card, to be honest. My mind's elsewhere. But yeah, I think she'll plough through her. Savannah's got a lot of power. I'm going to have to shoot in a minute because I'm going to have to pack my stuff and my phone's going to
No
die.
worries,
So
mate.
all I'll say is Taylor Serrano 3. I believe Serrano's 2-0 up already. I think Katie Taylor's lost no end of fights. She's lost about 4 fights in my eyes, and I hope Serrano gets the decision that she deserves this time. But it's been great to chat, lads. Thanks for having me on. Thank you so much.
Nah, anytime, bro. Anytime.
Thank you, Aaron.
Cheers.
I'll speak to you, CJ, mate. Cheers, boys.
mate.
Thank you.
pal.
See you later, lads.
Yeah, cheers for jumping on. I like these where we just get random people jump on and have a decent conversation. I generally like these episodes.
Yeah,
They are
definitely. It's my bad. I said yesterday I was going to finish my training session and then advertise it and try to get some pros on. And some fucker ripped my wing mirror off, overtaking me. So I got a bit pissed off and in a mood, and then just lost my head a little bit. But it's a big card tomorrow, man.
Life. Yeah,
It's
big card.
Life for me, losing my shit. Yeah. The all-female card is massive, isn't it? I mean, Katie Taylor, Serrano.
Massive card.
2 of the biggest names in female boxing. Baumgardner obviously popped, didn't she? But I was a massive Baumgardner fan. Against Miranda. Ellie Scotty, massive fight against Mercado.
Mercado, yeah, very big fight. Very big fight that.
It's a big step up for Ellie, do you think?
Yeah, it is. It's a unification. It's a unification bout, right?
Yeah, unified super bantamweight. Yeah, IBF, WBC, WBO.
The good thing about the females, CJ, is they are big fights, but you're a champion now, and these champions have got to fight each other, and especially the fact that Jake has signed all these females, and listen, you can't sign all the top females and not expect them to fight each other, and I love the fact that Jake. He's done that. He's signed these girls and they're all fighting each other. Savannah, he's just signed Savannah. She's fighting Shadeja Green, who's already his fighter. Shadeja Green was the first female fighter he actually signed outside of Amanda.
Yeah. He signed Chantel Cameron as well, hasn't he?
He signed Chantel Cameron. He signed every girl on this card. He's signed to him. So it's a brilliant card. Shout out to Jake. I'm not his biggest fan as a boxer, as we all know. I'm not his biggest fan as a boxer at all. But I am a fan of him when it comes to boxing promotion and promoting. I think he has the knack of it. His team has a good knack of it. He doesn't only know how to promote himself. He knows how to promote others as well, clearly. And the big news, him and Turki Al-Sheikh, who have been in sort of loggerheads, you could call it, who haven't liked each other. Turki taking the Canelo fight away from him, calling him a YouTuber and stuff like that. They've finally met. Jake's put a post out saying that he looks forward to working with Turki and stuff like that. So boxing, the unification of boxing promoters is coming together slowly but surely, where everyone is starting to work together and we're not getting this side of the street. You're not fighting my fighter. My fighter's A side. Oh, I should be main event. This main event on Saturday, we'll go to Saturday's main event, the Turkey card, the ring card, where you've got Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda and Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz. Those 2 fights a very good fight. And to have that on the same card, absolutely fantastic. I love the graphics, what the Ring magazine started doing as well. These little comic book graphics. I think they look sick.
Well,
I do like them.
it's like that one Ricky did for us three, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I do like that card. You've got Puello versus Matthias, where our very own Dalton Smith, he will be keeping a keen eye on that because he's number one in that sanctioning body. I think that will be a very, very, very good fight to watch. I think that's a 50-50 fight. I'm leaning towards the boxer in Puello, the champion. I'm leaning towards him for this fight. Matthias is a come forward fighter. Brawler wants to punch. He can. The guy's he's killed someone in the ring. That's how much of a puncher he is. But I have seen him outbox. I've seen him being beaten twice now. I saw him got beat by Paro in Puerto Rico. His hometown fight, defending his belt. He lost it. And he got outboxed in that fight. He didn't change his game plan. And if he hasn't learned from that and he tries to do the same in this fight, the same will happen. I believe he gets outboxed and gets beat. But that's my prediction. Have you got a prediction for that one?
For Zepeda, which one we're going for, mate? Sorry.
Puello versus Matthias.
Tough fight. Puello, I do think, mate. It's one of them. I'm just looking forward to seeing how it unfolds in the ring. But yeah, as you said, there is some really good boxing on through this weekend. We'll have a big show on Tuesday, won't we, to talk about all the results going over.
Yeah, massive.
As for your promoting and that, everything is finally coming together like it should have done years ago. We've probably missed out on loads of fights over generations because of companies not working with each other. As much as I do disagree with some stuff that Turkey does or says, I am a massive fan for what he's done.
That's what it was. The Jerry and Jerry comment.
Shit.
That's what it was. I knew there was something. We'll touch on that. We'll do that last. Let's just finish this card and then we'll do the Jerry thing and we'll dead it after that. So you've got Puello, I've got Puello on that one. Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. Who you got?
Stevenson. It's got to be, I think.
By UD or stoppage?
UD. I don't see Shakur stopping him. Being honest,
I've got stoppage. I genuinely believe Shakur stops him.
I'm writing that down so I can pull you on it if it happens.
And it's going to be a beating. I generally think Zepeda's going to come in there and he's going to do what he always does, throw a lot of punches. But the one mistake people forget is they can say Shakur runs and all this lot. No, Shakur's defensive abilities in the pocket is ridiculous. People do not understand how good this kid is, or whoever calls him a runner. Yeah, the fight against 2 fights ago, bearing in mind, against De Los Santos, yeah, he moved way too much. He did. He moved way too much. But I've seen this from Shakur before. I saw it when he fought Nakatilia earlier in his career, where he moved a lot. Then the very next fight, he stood in the pocket, evaded shots, and stopped whoever he was fighting. I think Jamel Herring. Jamel Herring was who he fought. I'm sure that's who he fought after that fight. He stopped Jamel Herring, who was a world champion. Shakur is very good. He's probably the best boxer. My favorite fighter out of that generation or that new school sort of fighters is Devin Haney. I think Devin, I've always liked it. I think he's my favorite fighter. But pure boxing wise, boxing skill, the defense, everything, Shakur Stevenson is by far the most all round of them lot. I don't like power. He hasn't really got much power, but he's got enough to hurt people when he's punching them. Because the stoppages what he's getting is from beating people up. People can't touch him, and he's landing. When you are landing 1,000 blows, it don't matter how soft they are, they're going to hurt at some point. They are going to hurt at some point. And I think that Shakur will stop Zepeda. This will probably be Shakur's best performance of his career. I think he stops him and makes a statement. Right, main event on that one. Hamza Shiraz versus Edgar Berlanga. What you got?
I'd like to see Shiraz come back with. Obviously, his last performance wasn't fantastic, was it? How long ago is that now? Let me just look that up quick. How long ago? Hamza. We both said, haven't we? What it didn't go down as we'd thought. Hold on. Typical, my phone's locked up. Berlanga, it's going to be a really tough fight. I'd like to see Shiraz come through. I'd like to see him have a real big win. I'm not sure how to call it, to be fair. I'd like to see Shiraz. I don't know if he's good enough to beat Berlanga. What do you think, Ez?
Going off his last performance, no. I don't know, because I don't know what Berlanga's got. This for me is like Anthony Yard stepping up to European or fringe world level for me, like fringe world level, because Hamza coming off that performance against Dames, I felt like he lost the fight. He got the draw. Berlanga, I don't know what Berlanga's got. Berlanga is like he's fought nobody's. No one really. McCrory, not a bad name. But then you fight Canelo, you lose convincingly. Then what level do you go back down to? And I don't know what level Hamza's at when it comes to world level, because his only fight at world level, as much as he got a draw, he didn't look good. But he's complaining about the weight. So moving up to 168, will he be better? For me, this is a pure 50-50 fight. This fight could be a war, or this could end in 1 or 2 rounds. This is how I generally feel like this fight. I feel like one of these guys could clip up each other early, and this fight could be over. I generally feel that. Or it could be a war.
Hamza needs to go out and show some shit. He really, really needs to go out there and just put the doubters to rest. And I'm one of the doubters. I'd definitely say that after his last performance. Fingers crossed he does come through it, and then the world's his oyster, isn't it? You know, everyone knows what potential he's got. He's big, tall, strong. Trey's put acid test for Shiraz. Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough one, but 100% right with you is it's 50-50. It's 50-50, and I won't fancy putting my money on it either way.
No.
He needs to come out and show the world why he was pushed so much and why why he got given that last chance. I don't think he won the last. I don't think he deserved the draw on the last fight at all. I think he got gifted that. So yeah, hopefully he can put that to bed, and we can put that down as a bad performance, first time at that level, and see where we go from it, mate.
Yeah, generally, like I said, this could be a war where you get Hamza wins a round, then Berlanga wins the next round. It could literally be a nip and tuck fight, or this fight, because both men can punch. This fight could be over in a blink of an eye. I'm telling you, like the first 2 rounds, don't blink, because both of these two can punch. And I don't know. I feel like there's something weird going to happen, and I feel like one of these two might get clipped early. One of them might get clipped early. Don't be surprised if there's an early knockdown in this fight.
No, I don't think anyone would be either. That they can both punch.
I would say. Just before we, sorry, go on, finish that.
No, go on, mate. You're all right.
Yeah, I was just saying, just before we're done and get out of here, I know there is Turkey's comments about Jerry versus Jerry. You don't want to see Tom versus Jerry, and whatever it is. Go on, say your piece on that. I'll say mine, and we'll leave it at that.
Again, all respect to Turkey for what he's done with arranging the fights. We've got to see the fights that we would have never seen if not in our generation, certainly in the heavyweights and things like that, or the Matchroom versus Warren shows, Queensberry, sorry. The comment of this is Jerry versus Jerry, not even Tom versus Jerry, meaning both fighters sort of running, not engaging. Listen, boxing is not all knockouts and come forward and aggression. Some of the best fighters in the world, some of the best fighters of past and our present generation are back foot fighters or movers, switch hitters. Not everything is Mike Tyson style, come forward and let loose. It's starting to grind on my teeth a little bit, the constant comments of him, like, and it's as if because he has got the money and he is the shot caller at the minute that he's saying, I just won't have it in my boxing then. He's going to start, the money isn't going to talk forever when it comes to things like that. Okay, some of the greatest fighters in this world don't come forward and come for a war. Boxing's there's every aspect when it comes to boxing. Okay, if you didn't have back foot fighters, if you didn't have movers, defensive fighters, I mean, look at Floyd Mayweather through his career. Is he saying at times he would have never had Floyd Mayweather on his shows then, when he hadn't engaged or when he has just moved? It's just getting a bit daft, the comments, I think.
I think what irritates me about it is the onus on one boxer. It's crazy to me how the people complain, like Turkey, saying, "Oh, this is Jerry. Oh, we don't want to see runners. We don't want to." Why is the onus only on one boxer? You have styles for a reason. Why can this guy run around the ring and you can't catch him? It's not because he's running, because he's not turning his back and he's not going like this. What he's doing is using footwork. If you cannot stop that and you are losing in that process, like Canelo can get away with saying, "Oh, Skull was running because they gave him the decision." But if you are not touching somebody, saying that they're punching you, so clearly they're close enough to you for them to punch you, for you to punch them. I think the whole thing of people let's say this, look at Galal Yafai and Rodriguez. We said straight away, what do you want fighters to do that? Stand there and get the brains beaten out because for your entertainment. Now it turns out he stood there and got his brains beaten out for your entertainment against somebody who took drugs, who cheated. How has that benefited him in any way? Devin Haney did the same thing against Ryan Garcia. For some reason, he chose to sit in there at times to trade with Ryan, and Ryan caught him. Ryan was on PEDs. Devin did that to please the fans, because the fans go, "Oh, we don't want to see no hugging. We don't want to see no running. We don't want to." Basically, you don't want to see me do anything that is going to give me the advantage of winning this fight. What you want to see me is in a handicap fight to do things that I am not good at doing, so there's a bigger chance of me losing and you saying, you aren't good. That's literally all it is.
He didn't say this when it's his money guys, when it's his favourites. So he's been a big fan of Anthony Joshua, Turkey, hasn't he? He didn't come out with this when he rematched Andy Ruiz in Saudi, and he jabbed and moved and jabbed and moved. And a lot of fans weren't excited by it. I liked it. I liked seeing that different side of AJ. I liked seeing the fact of him realising and his team realising, if I go in there and go toe-to-toe with this guy, I'm going to end up getting chinned again. So we changed the game plan up. And again, this is boxing.
This is the problem with apparently game plans and stuff don't mean anything if there's not. There's two fighters, like I've said, and I'll keep repeating, and this will be the last thing I say on this. I say this all the time. You have 12 weeks to train for a fighter. You know that fighter's style. You know what he's best at doing. If you cannot do that after 12 weeks of training, then unfortunately you can't beat him. He shouldn't have to dumb down his ability to allow you a chance of winning this fight. Like, it shouldn't happen. Your ringer, we flame fighters for not changing in fight. We flame teams for not changing the tactics when they're not working. Why would a fighter go into a fight with the wrong tactics just to give his opponent a chance? It's crazy to me. I think, like I said, boxing fans are the best and the worst at times, because they want you to get beat, some fighters to get beat so much that they try to shame them into fighting in a way that will get them beat. And then when they do get beat by fighting that way, you proceed to call them rubbish or washed up or they were never good.
But that's my yeah, go on, Siege.
No, you're right. That's my end on it too, mate. Trey's last comment there seals it up. What happens to the enjoying the sweet science, hit and not get hit? That's it.
And that's why I fell into boxing. That's why I fell into love with boxing. It's literally the sweet science of boxing. Hit, don't get it. The whole thing of being evasive. I love the fact of being in there, seeing and slipping punches. I like seeing fighters slip. I look when I train and box, even when I'm doing like my boxing with my sister-in-law. She's only 13, doing boxing with her, and we do a part where I allow her to try to hit me. And at first she didn't want to do it because she's like, I don't want to hurt you. I was like, you won't be able to hit me. I don't want to hurt you. And I was like, well, I tell you what, every time you hit me, I'll give you 20p. Oh, that was fun.
She come in swinging.
Oh yeah, it was. I've got a few videos, to be fair.
Deontay style. Then as soon as the money comes into it, it starts with the other.
I swear that left hook and right hand. I had. But everyone, thanks for joining us this tonight. I know it was a long show, nearly 2 hours, but we tried to make up for missing Tuesday's show. Obviously, still missing Ricky. He'll be back on Tuesday. So, well, hopefully Tuesday. I'm hoping Ricky will be back Tuesday. But if not, me and CJ will be here again. And we'll see you on Tuesday. CJ, any last words from you?
I'll see you on Tuesday, guys. Trey, thank you again, mate. All this is because of you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Facebook, Twitter, or on streaming on this on YouTube. And we'll be back with some results on Tuesday and some new content, guys. Thank you very much.
Peace.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my scarred with a sweet one place. Someone flicks me a back by it. So, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.